everyone from Michigan. I am going to do a little experiment today in my art studio. I am working with an 11 by 14 canvas, and I'm going to do a bunch of different colors swiping. I've taped off a cross. I wanted to do something for Easter, so this is my Easter painting that will hopefully hang in my house eventually. So all of my colors are just paint, water, and Floetrol, except for these two colors that I'm going to alternate putting on. They both have some silicone in them. If you are brand new to this and you want instructions on how to mix your paints, there are a lot of videos out there. So Jelly Cube, I know, has an extensive explanation of how to mix paints. One thing I've learned is that depending on whether you're swiping or if you're going to do a Dutch pour, or if you're going to do the paper towel, a dip, you know, they all require different consistencies. So I'm not going to go into consistencies here as it's readily available elsewhere. So I'm just going to start adding the color to the canvas. I kind of want a lot of this color. I'd like to use this one up, so. And I don't really have a pattern in mind. I'm just, like I said, this is an experiment, so I am just going to try whatever I feel like trying, whatever feels good, whatever seems right, whatever I think might work, and then go from there. All right, so that was my first color with silicone. I'm gonna save this in case I need it for my other one, and then I'm just gonna start adding these other colors. I'm gonna save that. I really love that teal color, so I'm gonna save that for last because I want to make sure it shows up really good. I do not have much purple, so I'm gonna try to be kind of quick here because I knew I was gonna run out. These paints that are in my bottles here have been mixed up since last fall or winter, so they have sat for quite a while. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but we'll find out. So here in Michigan, our weather has cooled off a bit again. We had a couple days that were really nice and warm, and we're kind of back to probably more typical weather. We were kind of on the warm side for Michigan, but I was enjoying it. Hopefully you are enjoying some beautiful weather wherever you are. We do have lots of sun today, which is really nice. So I did not start a base coat on this one, and as I'm watching these colors, I'm wondering if that was a mistake. I guess we'll find out. So I'm just going to go ahead and add, this is Phthalocyanine Blue. I'll try to, in my description, add the colors that I use. The green is a custom. I actually had just a little bit of a pale green left that I mixed into, I think that's, I'll look it up, but I think it's the Phthalocyanine Green, but I'll let you guys know so that you have some information on that. The purple is just violet. These are all Master's Touch, which is a Hobby Lobby brand that I really love. I feel like that blue is going to take over. Let's get some teal. Probably would have been a smart idea for me to mix up some extra paints, but I didn't do that. So we're just going to try to make this work. I do have, I forgot, almost forgot to put this one on. This is bronze. I love adding a little bit of metallic into my paints. So this is bronze. It is the DecoArt. Actually, it's Warren Penny. That I went ahead and added Floetrol to, and I like to reuse the bottles if I can. It just I like to recycle, so I'm not trying not to waste things. All right, one more bit with silicone and then I'll swipe and see what we get. I will not be able to pull the tape off right away, I don't think. So I'll have to add that bit later because I want this to dry before I pull the paint off, because I don't want the paint to flow across where the tape is. I want it to be separate. So, all right, let's see what we have. I'm gonna do just some gentle tilting just to kind of get the paint to cover more of the canvas. Like I said, I did not use an undercoating on this, which maybe was a mistake. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. And I'm gonna lose my lines here, but I'm okay with that, so don't worry too much. There are some swipes where it's important to keep your lines that you have. I don't feel like this one is one of them. I may add a little bit of white in here. I don't know, maybe not. It might be okay. So one of the things you can do, you can see I've got little areas where there's no paint. I'm just gonna go in and use my fingers to help that paint spread over that area. And then when I tilt, it'll be more likely to fill that in. So, and because I don't mind if my colors mix, I can go ahead and do this without cleaning my finger in between spots. If you don't like getting your hands messy, I recommend kitchen gloves, like the kind you would use to wash dishes. Those work really great for protecting your fingers and not using the gloves that the medical community needs right now. And they can be washed, and just like wash your hands just like you would wash your hands after you're done, and then you can reuse them. So they're a great tool. So hopefully I've got all my spots covered. I want to make sure the weight of my paint is not too much in one area. So I'm tilting this more than I would normally recommend. So you usually want to do a gentle tilt, and that was not a gentle tilt. Let's see if I can get any more of this teal in here, since it's one of my favorites. All right, let's see what we get. My towel is all gross from last time, so don't mind my weird towel, but I will get some of this paint off of me. All right, so I kind of want to do real simple lines. I don't want to do one big swipe, I guess is what I'm saying. So I want a short swipe to just kind of pull those colors together. Coming out from the cross, and you could do this however you wanted. That's, you know, my theory with art is always that it's about the artist. It's about what makes you happy. I don't do art for other people. I find that to be frustrating, so I do what makes me happy, and it works well for me. So that is my recommendation. And I did see I did use some silicone in this, so I should see some cells pop up, hopefully. And you wouldn't have to wipe every single time. If you feel like you don't have enough color somewhere, you can always add by not wiping off your swipe, whatever you're using to swipe with. And I'm just using, this is a laminating sheet that I just sealed on itself and then cut into a smaller piece. And that is one of the nice things about these laminating sheets, is they're really easy to cut, and they give you a lot of different sizes, and they're flexible, and you can see through them. I really like being able to see through it. I feel like I'm able to direct my paint a little bit better when I can see through my swiper. So let's see, here's got too much of the same color, so I didn't wipe my paint off on purpose, picked up some of that lighter color and went back through, which just adds a little more interest. So, and I don't know, I'm not 100% sure what I think of this yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I think it's gonna be one of those that I'm not sure until I see it dry. Now right up here in this corner, there's really not much paint, so that's why I brought that paint back up and continued my swipe. And I don't really want any lines left. So sometimes when you swipe, I'll try to show you here. If I leave this here, then you have this space in between where the paint has not been swiped, and it can create a very harsh line. I don't necessarily want that. So I'm going to go back over every single space and make sure everything has been swiped. On some pieces, you're not going to want that, but on this piece, I definitely want the whole thing swiped. And this paint is lifting the tape, so this is going to be really interesting to see how it turns out. Really don't want to lose all that copper, so hopefully we can hang on to that. See, right here are those harsher lines because I didn't swipe there, so we will just add that. See that little spot right there? I can just real gentle go over that. And I'm not going to worry about my edges too much because I will go over those again with my finger. If there's like little spots where the paint just didn't cover it, you can just go over it with your finger. Especially on something like this where the colors are so blended and you don't have to worry about, oh, which color am I putting on the side? It doesn't matter. It's going to look good no matter which color stays there. So get some there. Okay, so you can do this with your finger too, but I'm trying to go back with my swipe tool to try to give the sides a bit of a swiped look so that it blends a little bit better. So it has that same feel on the sides as it does on the top of the painting, on the front of the painting. I don't want it to feel like I did two different techniques. So you can see I can even pick up some of the paint that's dripped off the sides and just add it to the places where I need it. This, I can see a little bit of my canvas there, so I'm just gonna gently touch on a little paint and allow it to spread over the sides. Same thing here, just need a touch more paint. I really want it to flow over the sides. I want it to look like one cohesive piece. So, all right, so that is the first step. I am probably going to use a torch on this to see if I'm going to have to be really careful because that paint or that tape can't have heat on it. So, see if we can bring out some cells. It's a pretty cold room that I'm working in too, so that probably is not going to create the effects that I would love to have. But if you're using a heat gun, you need to keep in mind you should have a fire extinguisher with you so that if the paint catches on fire, you can put it out, because this is flammable. This substance that we're using, this paint, is flammable. So all right, so there we go. I meant to add some red to that and I forgot, but you know what, I kind of love it the way it is. So the real question, do I pull the tape up now or later? I'm not sure. I've got a little goober there. Let's see if I can get it out. So anytime you have something like that, you can also just drag it to the edge. Oh, it's getting buried. And then off the painting. And you'll just have this line that's gonna look like it was intentional, even though it wasn't. So you can also use the opposite end of the skewer, the less pointy end, to create lines through your painting. I don't want that on this one, so I'm not gonna do that, but I do see a spot up here. It needs just a little more of a swipe. All right, I'm gonna let that sit for about 30 minutes and then I will come back and see if there's anything else I think it needs. Thanks for watching. All right, so I came back and went ahead and took the tape off. I did that off camera, sorry guys. It was very nerve-wracking. I did it right away and it came off okay. Didn't drip or anything. And then I added white into the middle here, and then I've just kind of, with a skewer, gone through and just tried to add some little highlights. And you can drag your skewer, the rounded end of it, not the pointy end, through the colored paint and just kind of pull it in. And that just gives a little more color, a little more accent. I don't know, I kind of like it. So you can just play with it as much as you want till it's where you like it, and then call it good. I think that's all I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna let that dry, and then once this is dry, my plan is to write across this section of the cross here, "He is risen." With the extra paint in here, I'm not 100% certain that's gonna happen, but we will see. So there you go, that is the finished cross, and I will see if I can take you down and do a little bit of a close-up for you. Of course, you guys were watching this whole thing upside down, so I apologize. So that is the finished piece. It'll take a while to set up and completely dry. I usually won't varnish or embellish any further on these until they've dried for a month, just to make sure that paint really has a good chance to dry. So this one will be a while before it can be hung, but there's the finished piece for you. Happy painting!